Hello friends, today is February 12, 2026. Let's talk about the upsides, the downsides, and the realities in the world of game development from the perspective of an industry insider. Let's begin with something dramatic. Google recently announced a new GenAI project that caused quite a stir in the video game industry, as it can produce three-dimensional interactive virtual worlds and controllable characters from simple text or image prompts. According to the demo, Project Genie can generate short playable prototypes based on the simple prompts with a small set of controls to navigate the environment. And while it produced only short, rudimentary interactive sequences, it still resulted in a big fuss. A bunch of major publicly traded gaming companies saw significant share price decline immediately after the announcement. For example, Unity was down by approximately 21 to 24%, Take-Two Interactive was down 7 to 10%, and the companies like Nintendo, CD Projekt Red, and others followed the same trend. While this is not a big deal, the whole thing highlights just how volatile the market is right now, as well as the significant anxiety and hype surrounding AI. While it is an impressive concept, the truth is there is nothing to be worried about. Yet. It is not a threat to traditional game engines or publishers. At best, it is an over-exaggerated prototyping and concepting tool. But even that is a huge stretch at this point. I mean, there is a potential there somewhere, but it will be a while before this project can make a real impact on game development pipelines. Real game development is far more complex than what this can offer. So I'm not sure why investors in a lot of these companies are freaking out. I mean, probably they haven't worked a day in their life on a video game. But Project Genie is a cute toy though. Moving on to some disappointing news. It looks like the sequel to The Outer Worlds didn't meet the expectations of Obsidian Entertainment. And the developers recently shared that they are abandoning the franchise altogether. According to Bloomberg, the head of Obsidian Entertainment shared that there are 3 projects released last year: Grounded 2, Avowed, and The Outer Worlds 2. And 2 of them unfortunately didn't hit the mark, the latter ones to be exact. And while Avowed is set to continue, there are no plans for The Outer Worlds 3. The company shared that the sequel took around 6 years to develop, which was longer than they anticipated, inflating production costs tremendously, which also caused the franchise to lose a lot of its momentum. And with the first game being good, but not a huge cultural phenomenon, it looks like the company decided the series is too weak to continue. But at least they pledged to keep working on updates and potential DLCs. So there is something. The whole strategy follows the broader industry trend of companies not moving forward with the games that do not guarantee commercial success. And the truth is, times are scary, and every failure hits very hard. And while it is sad to see a franchise go, it would be even more sad if the company closed its doors for good. So at least we didn't hear about layoffs or more project cancellations, right? Hopefully, Avowed route will prove more profitable for Obsidian, which I'm not sure of, but we'll see. The game indeed has potential. What do you think about The Outer Worlds? Are you sad to see this franchise go? Also, quick thing, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alex, I'm a game producer, and I'm here to help you get caught up on everything that's going on in the video game industry. Switching gears to something we definitely don't hear every day. The majority of staff working on a recently released in early access Ashes of Creation decided to stand up and leave the company. For those of you who don't know, this MMORPG has roots in a 2017 Kickstarter. It raised approximately $3+ million, spent almost a decade in development, and was released in early access in 2025. The game started with more or less stable numbers of more than 20,000 people playing it, according to Steam charts, which isn't so bad for a brand new IP. But then the company founder and creative director of the game decided to resign in protest, triggering either resignations or layoffs of other employees. In a statement shared on Discord, he said that the control of the company shifted away from him, and the board began directing actions that he could not ethically agree with or carry out. After that, much of the senior leadership team resigned. Following those departures, the board made the decision to issue WARN Act notices and proceed with mass layoff, which essentially means that the company is now without any employees. Unfortunately, it's unclear what actions prompted all this. But it sounds like the end of this MMO, with people already leaving it by the thousands and trying to request refunds through Steam. This is absolutely mind-blowing. But also, maybe not? With this game being crowdfunded, it means that anyone could have gotten a seat on their board with enough money. For example, people who don't know a thing about a video game, or video games in general. And MMO projects are probably the trickiest ones to manage in the entire industry. Since these projects typically require consistent revenue to maintain, I think early access was not enough for the investors. My best guess is that the board tried to push for some highly aggressive monetization strategies. The developer said no, the board said that they don't have a choice, and the devs just stood up and left. But again, it's just me guessing. Or maybe it was all just a clever ruse to get money out of people. What do you think? Circling back to AI for a bit, Sony also wants to introduce something new with GenAI, and it's podcasts. If you ever wanted to hear one hosted by, for example, Ellie or Kratos from the God of War, you might be in luck, as according to Insider Gaming and recently unveiled patent filing, that's exactly what Sony wants to do. The project is called LLM-based generative podcasts for gamers. And the gist of it is that based on the player's data, generative AI will create personalized audio podcasts, which could be voiced by video game characters from PlayStation franchises. For example, sharing news about games in your library or voicing over the notifications. But then again, this is all just a patent for now. Sony hasn't shared any concrete plans for this. However, this thing raises a lot of ethical and legal questions. For instance, how are the original voice actors going to be compensated for this? How will Sony decide what data they could and couldn't listen to? How will this data be managed? While the project sounds interesting, Sony will have to answer these and many other questions first. Would you listen to a podcast with Kratos? Which Sony character would you prefer to voice over your podcast? Now that's the question. Speaking of Ellie, a rumor recently surfaced suggesting that the upcoming Season 3 might be the final one for The Last of Us series, with the upcoming season aiming to conclude the story we saw in the games, sharing the journey of Abby. There are questions about what's next. And according to a recent interview between Deadline and the CEO of HBO, the latter one said that it might be it when asked about the future of this franchise, and if the third season will be final. He said that it certainly seems that way, but on decisions like that we will defer to the showrunners. And while this is not a confirmation of the end, it certainly doesn't project confidence for the project, which is quite sad for those of us who expected the show to explore other storylines or continue what was already covered in the games. But that statement, lackluster viewership of Season 2, questionable adaptation choices, all combined with the fact that the creators of the game exited the showrunner crew recently, and Naughty Dog apparently only working on their new IP, it all points to the fact that nobody sees the potential in this franchise anymore. Which is fair to a degree considering how long it was since the success of the original one, but it still makes me sad. I think there is a lot of potential there and it's just being squandered away. What about you? Are you still looking forward to the show, or you just couldn't care less anymore? Moving on to some personal revelations. Honestly, before today, I didn't know that there was a video game nomination for Grammy, but apparently there is. Specifically a nomination for Best Score Soundtrack for Video Games and Other Interactive Media. This category was recently introduced to solidify video games as a respected creative art form, and the award went to Sword of the Sea, a 2025 adventure video game developed and published by Giant Squid, where you play as a surfer exploring an amazingly beautiful world. Mainstream awards recognition like this is a big deal for games. It can lead to increased soundtrack streaming and may boost cross-platform interest in related soundtracks and in the video games in general. More popularity for the industry means more opportunities for game developers. All in all, video games are becoming bigger and bigger when it comes to the overall recognition. And I honestly cannot be happier about it. And to wrap things up, one of the biggest companies in the world recently shared that they've elected a new CEO, Josh D'Amaro, who will replace the retiring CEO of Disney, Bob Iger. According to GameSpot, the vote was unanimous, and everybody is praising the leadership skills of the new CEO. What's even more interesting is that he is eager to give video games a quote-unquote bigger role at the company. It is still unclear how he is planning to accomplish that, as so far Disney's core competencies and current business structure lie outside of gaming, and there is no clear execution roadmap or resource commitment yet. But at least there is a promise here that we can look forward to. Though don't expect any swift shifts anytime soon. What's more likely is that the process will be slow, cautious, and more exploratory than transformative. But in general, I think it is a good sign for video game fans around the world. Again, more opportunities and possibilities on the distant horizon, which is always better than doom and gloom, right? And that's all I have for you today, friends. As usual, if you want to know more, all source links are in the description. And of course, clicking the like button helps this channel and brings you more and more interesting news each week. Subscribe if you are new, as I put out new videos every week. Thank you for making it this far. Have a great rest of the day, and that's Alex signing off for now. Cheers!